guys, today I'll be reviewing El Toro at Six Flags Great Adventure. This is the legendary 2006 Intamin prefab, and I gotta say, it lives up to the hype. I've ridden this ride 117 times in my life, so I have a lot of experience with this, and I'm going to share everything in this review. So let's start off with the presentation. I honestly think this is one of the best, if not the best looking ride in the park. It is just stunning. It is this massive wooden coaster. There is just nothing else like it, at least in North America. I mean, T-Express, Wildfire, but there's no other wood structure as impressive as this here in North America. The entire Plaza del Carnaval section actually looks really good. They play the nice Spanish music in the area. They set the tone. Everything looks Spanish and everything, which, I mean, it should. It's Plaza del Carnaval, but they executed a lot better than some people give it credit for. There's the bull statue outside the entrance, and then as you go up to the station, you'll notice that it has that Spanish architecture, which looks really nice. Inside the station, there's really nothing. The ride itself isn't really themed at all. It just has the bull horns at the front of the train, and that's about it, but that's fine. This ride does not need theming, that's for sure. So once you get into the queue, you're going to notice your free lockers. Now, these are a bit different than some of the other ones like Wildcats Revenge or whatever. These are like flashes where you get the card and you just scan it on the screen there, and then you get your stuff in and you get it out at the end of the ride, and you keep the card in your pocket. I think this is a bit of a weird system because some people with loose pockets or no pockets at all might be screwed here. People who wear cargo shorts like me are fine, but just beware of that. You might want to wear cargo shorts. Even though you have all your stuff there, you want to keep that card safe. Make sure you don't lose it. The other thing you'll notice about this queue is there's not many people in it. This ride is usually a walk-on. In fact, it's been since 2021 since I've seen this thing with a wait. Both my visits in 2023 and my visit here in 2025 were complete walk-ons, given it was a 60-degree cloudy day this past visit. But still, you'd think for a ride this excellent, it would have at least a full station, but no. I think there's two big reasons for that. One, it's kind of out of the way. Now, especially without King Dakar and Green Lantern and all that on the left side of the park, this ride really doesn't get too much foot traffic. And the other reason is this ride is pretty rough. And I've heard on pretty much all my visits, people get off the ride and they're like, man, that would be the best ride in the park if it didn't beat me up so bad. If you know me, I think roughness adds to a ride, especially a wooden coaster like this. But I know most people definitely don't think so. They think it's way too painful, which I can respect, and that's probably part of why it doesn't have a big line. So you're going to get in the train, and you're going to pull down those lap bars. These are actually pretty good lap bars, I will say. If you're bigger, these will be extremely tight trains and extremely tight lap bars. But if you're fairly skinny like me, it shouldn't really be an issue. You can usually get a decent amount of room, and the ops are pretty good about not stapling, so that's definitely nice. Now, before we get into the layout, I want to talk about row preferences. Everyone always says the back row is easily the best on this ride. And yes, I think row 18 is somewhat the best. And I do think if I had to pick one row to ride on, it would be row 18. The front and a bunch of other rows are also really good. The way I'd rank the rows are first would be 18, and then second would be row 16, because row 17's in the middle of the car. And then after row 16, I'd go to row 1, then row 3, and then row 17, then row 2. But honestly, my 7th favorite seat is row 7. I thought it was sort of a magic seat. It's right up there with the front car and the back car. It's really good. I tried it out once. And I would also recommend sitting on the unload side, mainly for one moment, and I'll get to that later. But without further ado, let's get into the layout breakdown. You're going to start up that cable lift, and then turn around and head down that first drop. And this is the second best first drop I've ever experienced. The only one better is Sky Rush's. I definitely like Sky Rush's more because, the kink is just that good. But El Toro still gives you extreme ejector that's very sustained on this drop, especially in the back row. It is phenomenal. And you also get a bit of laterals because you're coming off that turnaround, and especially in the back, you're going to be pinned to the right a little bit. It's very interesting. I like it, though. And then you'll hit the first valley. All the valleys in the first half are very intense. You don't gray out, but it's really close to graying out. They're a bit rough, so watch out for that if you're sensitive to that. But again, I think it adds to the ride. After that first valley, you're going to hit the first of two glorious sustained camelbacks, and these are the highlights of the ride, easily in my opinion. Other than Air Force One's big sustained hill, aka the second up of the double up, these two camelbacks are the best moments of pure sustained ejector I've ever experienced. They are just perfect. The way you get chucked up out of your seat and then just pinned there for 3 seconds is unbelievable. There is technically stronger airtime out there. I'd say Wildcat's Revenge definitely has stronger moments. Obviously, Magnum does with the triangle hills. Those are ridiculous. Air Force One obviously has stronger airtime, but none of it's even close to as sustained as this thing. I mean, you really feel like you're just going to get launched into orbit here. So then after those two camelbacks, you're going to hit the middle section of the ride, and everyone knows this section is why El Toro's not necessarily the greatest thing of all time. It's a bit of a dead spot, and yes, I can admit that, but I don't think it's quite as bad as some people make it out to be. The first element here is the turnaround. This is why you want to sit on the unload side. You get a pretty good pop of airtime going into it if you're on the unload side. On the load side, it's kind of weak, and then you're going to hit the turnaround portion of it. This sadly doesn't really deliver any G's, but you do feel the roughness here, and in my opinion, it's great. It really makes you feel like you're about to crumble, but I know a lot of people definitely don't like that. And I will also note now, because I think this spot in particular is where you feel it the most, the seats themselves are not padded. So anytime you feel high positive G's or anything, your butt's just being pushed into unpadded seats. And it can be painful, but I just suck it up. I'm used to it. I know a lot of people definitely are caught off guard by that though. After that, you're going to rise up, head down a floater airtime filled drop. Unfortunately, it's just floater. It's okay. It's definitely a break in the action. And then you hit another floater hill. Again, I wish it was ejector. I wish it was stronger, but you can't win them all. Then you're going to have a nice surprise pop up, and this actually does give a bit of stronger floater than the prior two hills. I wouldn't quite call it ejector, maybe in the front when it's really cooking, but I still wouldn't call it ejector. It's definitely stronger floater. And then you're going to turn around to the left and get a great hand chopper, especially on that unload side, before heading into the infamous Rolling Thunder Hill. In the morning, this is honestly just weak ejector, but when it's warmed up and cooking, oh my god, this is one of the best airtime moments on the planet. You get about 2 seconds of some of the strongest ejector you will ever feel. It is perfect. It feels like the first drop all over again, basically. After this, you'll head into the twister section. This one's actually pretty fun. It's definitely not Maverick or Panthurian level, but it's still really fun. You get some good laterals, and it's different than Maverick and Panthurian, because when you turn to the left, you'll actually get thrown to the right and vice versa. The banking's really weird and offset, and I don't know how they profiled it, but it's just weird how they did it, because you get thrown like it's a wild mouse turn instead of a normal snap. It's just interesting, but it's fun either way. It's a bit rough here too, but just enjoy it. And then you've got 2 more twisted hills before the pop up into the brakes. These twisted hills can give some okay floater and laterals when it's warmed up. When it's cold in the morning, it's not really going to do anything. The ride's pretty much over, but they're all right. And then you pop up into the brakes, and unfortunately, that doesn't give airtime. That is your ride on El Toro, one of the most inconsistent yet incredible coasters ever. Objectively, this should not be a very good ride. I mean, you just heard me talk about 4 moments of ejector, and then the rest is sort of okay, average wooden coaster stuff. But that being said, those 4 moments are some of the all-time great coaster moments. I mean, the first 2 camelbacks are arguably top 5 moments on any coaster I've ever been on. They're that good. Like, I would honestly take those 2 airtime moments over any airtime moment on Iron Gwazi and Wildcat's Revenge, which rank ahead of this, which is crazy to think, because those 2 rides have some ridiculous airtime. But there's just something about those 2 hills, and the first drop in Rolling Thunder Hill are also some of the all-time great moments. So for that reason alone, I have to give El Toro a 10 out of 10. Objectively, it's not a 10 out of 10. It's very inconsistent, especially between morning rides and afternoon rides. It's very sluggish in the second half in the morning, but I just don't care. The moments that stand out are just that good to make it a 10 out of 10 in my opinion, and this is currently my number 6 overall, right in between Skyrush and Panthurian. So that is my review of El Toro. Let me know what you guys think of this ride down in the comments below. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.